I recently finished watching the second season of the Sidemen's Inside series on Netflix, and I wanted to share a few thoughts on it. This season featured 12 different contestants, which is 2 over the original 10 participants in the first season, including the likes of George Clark, DDG, Cinna, and frickin' Patrice Evra. At first, I thought having 12 contestants spread out over 7 days was too much and didn't think they would mesh pretty well, and I wasn't sure how it would give us the time to develop connections with the cast as well as enough time for them to develop compelling storylines within each other, but it ended up turning out a lot better than I expected. The cast was very fun to watch, and I feel like I got to know each cast member a lot more than I did prior to watching the series, except for Dylan. That boy did not stand a chance whatsoever. It was easy to make comparisons between this season's cast and the first season's cast. I've seen people say PK Humble is the Castillo of the season, which I don't think is true at all. If I had to make a comparison, I would say he's more so the Specs of the season. People were also saying Dylan Page was the Joe Weller of the season, which again, I do not entirely see, but I do get the idea of making comparisons within each season's cast members as a way to develop stronger connections to the newer cast members. Now, much like the previous season, the show started with a £1 million prize fund that went down over the days through buying items from the shop as well as participating in the daily challenges. The new season had pretty similar challenges to the first season, some of which had a few twists or a mixture of different challenges blended into one. I liked the challenges for the most part. I thought they were pretty fun to watch, and I'm glad they stuck with the same format of the first season, considering the move to Netflix and how it may have impacted the show, but I'm happy with how they turned out. Similar to the first season, this season also had temptations which were spread out over a few of the cast members throughout the episodes, but honestly, I didn't really think they were as effective or as tempting as the temptations from the first season. For instance, DDG's temptation was a steak dinner, which I'm glad he didn't take. Jason's temptation was an invitation to play in the Sidemen 2025 charity match, which, if I'm being honest, I would have probably done the same thing in taking it instantly, but similar to what Cinna said to Jason, I'm sure the Sidemen would have invited Jason to play in the match regardless of whether he took the temptation or not, and could have saved the cast an extra 30k. But I understand at the time of being presented with the opportunity, you feel like you have to take it. Whitney's temptation, which I am going to talk about her more later, had a glorified birthday party, which, to be fair, I am sure it left them with some good memories to take from their time spent in the inside house, but I don't feel like these temptations were that tempting, if I'm being honest. But hey, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm looking too deeply into it. One thing I found to be pretty silly and unnecessary is the insane amounts of money spent on the shop. Like, I'm pretty sure half of the cast had no restraints on spending however much money they feel like spending whatsoever. Talking about daily meal upgrades, spending money on items that were obvious bait, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and just thousands of pounds wasted on food and drinks that realistically they would have access to the instant they leave the house. I just didn't understand the complete dismissal of the entire point of the show, where you're supposed to be more in control of your desires and what you want. But on the bright side, it did make for some good entertainment and good TV, so I am not entirely opposed to it. The star of the season for me was, without a doubt, PK Humble. I didn't know the man prior to watching the new season, and I'll be honest, he was pretty funny and added good vibes all throughout the show. I enjoyed his different interactions with the other cast members and his involvement in the challenges, and considering his come up and where he was before the show, I do believe he deserves the shine, and I'm glad he is one of the final winners. Now, one member which I feel got snaked essentially in this season is Farah. I've known her a while ago from her funny TikToks and her involvements in Nico Emalana's NDL channel. She is genuinely a great person. Knowing her and what she's like, I was really hoping she would be one of the winners of the season because I do believe she deserved it, especially with Cinna sticking out for her in the Lights Out challenge and saying that she deserves to win over the other contestants, just to end up voting her out the day after, which I found pretty silly, but hey. Game is the game, I guess. Farah ended up getting the most votes during one of the voting days, tied with George, and ended up getting eliminated from a freaking rock, paper, scissors challenge. Classic Sidemen. Moving to the worst member of the season, I'm joking, but kind of, is Whitney, which honestly I feel like she rubbed a lot of people off the wrong way. She had multiple instances where she acted pretty immaturely and just didn't really present herself in a proper way. She even had the other members, mostly the boys, not like her for the most part. And while I don't think she's a bad person, but in a show where you spend a week trying to bond with other members and leave a good lasting impression, I feel like she didn't do much of that throughout her tenure in the show. After 7 days of action and many eliminations later, the 3 finalists of the season were Cinna, PK, and Maya, which I am not against at all. I'm glad all of them decided to split the remaining prize fund and win together, which made for a beautiful, good ending. After the season ended, the cast were reunited once again in a reunion episode, which was a fun watch. It got intense in some moments, but I'm glad they all seem to be on good terms with each other for the most part. Overall, I enjoyed this season of Inside. I really enjoyed the cast, and I'm excited to see what the upcoming season will turn out like. It is going to be the US edition season, and a few updates from certain creators already seem to gear things up for the next season. But hey, as a fan of the Sidemen for many years, I am incredibly proud of them and what they have been able to achieve through the series. It is truly remarkable, and I'm excited to see what happens next. But that is going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Pretty different style of video from my end, but I was planning to do something like this for a while now, and I felt like the opportunity was there for me to do this. Let me know what you think about this format, and make sure to like and subscribe for more content coming your way very soon. And yeah, take care, and I'll catch y'all later.